Hey, my name is Caitlin. Welcome to vlog number 3. For this interaction, I met with this guy David, who sits next to me in my gov class. He and I kind of come from different paces of life. He's from Chicago, a big city, and he loves big cities, and he's really into that fast-pacedness and all that the city has to offer, whereas I, on the other hand, haven't spent extended amount of time in a big city. It's not really my scene. We also had different approaches to the class that we have together. For him, it's just an elective. He's a business major. He thought it'd be interesting, but it's not his passion. He takes it seriously, but not like that seriously. Whereas for me, it's an integral part of my major. It's one of the topics that I hope to teach one day, and so I not only have a passion for the topic, but I'm also like really dedicated in my work and trying to understand what's going on in lecture. And so our different approaches to the class and our motivation and how we learn in the class were different. So I thought it'd be interesting to talk to him about motivation and learning and these questions and topics. And it was great. Despite our differences, in this one specific class that we have together, we actually learn and are motivated by some similar things. But we also have some differences, so I'll get into that. We talked about kind of 2 classes for him. We talked about his economics class, where he faced some challenges when there wasn't homework and quizzes between big tests, and he found himself getting lost in lectures. But he addressed that by going out of his way and getting outside help, by looking up books in the library and going to office hours and all of that. And then we also talked about a calculus class that he had that it was interesting to talk about, because he not only attributed his success in that class that he found challenging but rewarding because he did well despite it being a challenge, to his own effort because he tried really hard, but also to a little bit of luck, which I found really interesting. That he thought it was just kind of luck of the draw, that he got a good professor, and that's what helped him a lot in addition to his own effort. So I learned a lot about learning and motivation in talking with David. I noticed a lot of similarities between the two of us, that we both know how we learn and can identify when we're struggling in a class. For David, that was in his economics class when he was in lecture and he knew he wasn't quite grasping the material. I'm the same way. I know when I'm not quite getting something and when to ask for help and question what's going on, talk to the teacher, the professor, and yeah. We also know how to address those issues, what sort of outside resources would be of aid to us, and so that was really interesting. We also both make an effort and persist in a challenge. We both seek out a challenge. David next year is taking an Arabic class, even though he knows no Arabic whatsoever, just because he enjoys that challenge and learning new things. And I'm the same way. I like branching out of my comfort zone in terms of subject matter and research. I really enjoy learning new things even when they're hard to learn. I know for my geometry class back in high school, it didn't come easy, and so I had to constantly work at it and put in that effort, and it was a challenging class, but I liked the challenge. We're both motivated to get extra help when we don't know something. We don't just give up. Neither David nor I, when we've had challenging classes, have been like, oh, it's a hard class, of course I'll get a bad grade. We go out of our way to get extra resources. What was interesting though, a difference between us, is the resources that we would turn to. For me, I would go to a YouTube video or text a friend in the class, kind of low-key, not so out there, going out and doing things. Whereas David went to the library and got books, multiple books, and then went to office hours, changed his schedule around to accommodate for this class. Whereas for me, I'm more studying in my dorm or in the library and then using resources around me, whereas he'll branch out farther. And that's interesting that though we both turned to outside resources, they're different kinds of resources. And I guess it's true for a lot of different learners that when you know how you learn best, you then seek out those resources, and those are different for different people, which is a valuable thing to know as a teacher, that me just pulling up a YouTube video won't make it click for everyone, and that maybe a book or a different student explaining it might be what that student needs. And I think that was a really valuable thing I took away from talking with David. And our motivation was also different, which could also play into a future classroom as well. For me, I'm often motivated by a passion for the subject, especially in my classes here at Michigan State. I've been able to take classes that have been topics that have been fascinating to me and that I've wanted to study for a long time. And so taking classes in those is really